This is Justin Scoop on June 11th, 2024, looking at SPX. So we've been up here for a little bit. We made a new all-time high here, and we just closed the new one today. We had a hammer and a hammer and a hammer and a hammer and another hammer today right off of the 10, which is phenomenal. Obviously, as the day is going on, that it was probably down here and then was getting pulled higher as the day moved up. Pretty phenomenal close. Let's get into that. If I could get the tool to turn on with, where's the annotation? Oh, it's over there. Sorry. There. There we go. All right, so let's go into the 3 minute. So this was a great place to be doing something. We had this open price and really bumped our heads into that a bunch of times. And I glanced at the chart. I think somewhere in here, it's like, that's a good resistance. And then missed it because I was, let's see. Yeah, I think I was in some meetings. I was in some meetings. I had it was between meetings, going to meeting. I was tied up most of the day. So missed all that. And I'm looking at this and I saw, okay, there's kind of like a little bit of a flag here. Maybe we'll break out. And then that broke out. It's like, that doesn't look like the right flag. And so I kind of redrew it like this or like that, not like that. I redrew it with the bottom down here and everything lined up really well. And I got another chart. And so I was looking for a pullback, like, you know, trigger in some bears right here. And I had an entry sitting here, filled here with like 12 minutes left to go, 11 minutes left. I think it was 11 minutes left to go. I think it was at 2:49 that filled on an absolute zero, zero DTE, 0 days till expiration. So like literally 11 minutes to expiration, and it rampaged. And it was great to be in one of those right into the close. And that was really the only trade that I put on today. But let's go look at that. Keep losing the annotate tool. So actually, first, let me show on TradingView because it's a messier chart. So I've been drawing all these little channel thingies, trying to figure out like, well, where are these going? And the yellows are, or I'm sorry, the orange lines here are the high and low of yesterday, and they really just show we've been channeling just sideways, and then we were kind of breaking out today. So if I turn all that off, so here's the same move on the 3 minutes. Here's that flag. I'm going to zoom way in. I'm gonna get really into this. And so I'm going to turn that, and it's still just messy. So I'm going to go down to 30 seconds and I'm going to show you. Okay, so I was drawing some stuff on here, thought I had this angle like this. It's like, that looks good. We're bouncing off of the previous day's high. That should be a nice bounce. Got that bounce. Let me get in on it when it pulls back. This blue line here was just a level I was kind of tracking right around 53.70. That was actually the strike that I picked for today because I'm like, I think we can get in the money into the close, which we did. Um, and then, so this one was too steep and we weren't really respecting it over through here. It was holding the midline really well, but then I redrew, kind of connecting the lows through here and the high up here. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have an order sitting down here because if we roll over, so let me delete this one and let me delete this one. Okay, so really it's, if we've got this as a bigger flag, at this angle, that's pretty straight. And then that breaks out and retest, we should get a bounce in here. Even if we come down to the midline, it's absolute zero. We could rally from this price back up to the 53.70 strike and have some sort of a gain there. Okay, so let me delete all that and that deleted. And now let me put those channels back on. Okay, so that was a cleaner. So I drew this in after it filled. It's like, oh, that filled. Now I just need it to rampage up. So I'm actually down on a 15-second chart. And I don't recommend this unless you're really only doing absolute zero and you know exactly what you're doing, which pretty much know what I'm doing, right? So filled on this pullback and then just started to go. It's like, oh, it's breaking out. Oh, it's through my blue line. I'm getting alerts on the blue line because that's set to alert. And it's going up. And I wish I had a target here because that would have been a phenomenal exit. And I'm like, as it's pulling back, it's breaking through. So I'm drawing in this and just to see how quick are we going up. It's breaking through that. I'm like, I got to just get out of this thing because it's literally 257. I want to be out of everything 258. I don't like being in a zero DT, especially when it's got gains into 258, 259. I'm like, let me get out of this. So I'm out at 258. And now we can switch back over um, to the option. And so that would be, I try that. How is that still on the screen? Here? Okay. So that would be this option. So this is the 5370 strike. And it's, yeah, this was just a great setup because I had to wait for it. So all through here, I can't see that now. Okay, so you see the zero point 0.5 price. That was my entry. So all through here, it's holding the zero point 0.5, and then it just rampages out of there. And it's like, okay, it might come all the way back through there. You're seeing the nice lower lows, steeper lower highs. And it's like, I'm just going to set my entry at zero point 0.5. So it's like missed it over here, didn't come back that far. And just kind of keep an eye, like redrawing stuff, like, oh, maybe we'll get it. We got a little bit of that spike down. I'm glad I didn't try and do like buy at zero point 0.5, stop at 0.25, because I would have been out, because that's just always happens. You get filled on the exit or slippage, and it's like you don't want to be doing anything other than absolute zero at this time of the day anyway, with zero DTE. Let me make that caveat. So anyway, this looking like a wedge, and then it started to go, and I had my target way up at 11 because I'm thinking we should be able to get through to 5380, maybe a little further. I'm going to set my target 11. That didn't happen. I was moving my target back down. It's like, okay, we're not going to get back up there. And then I think when this candle hit, this was where we hit the top edge of that channel. And it's like I would have changed my target to 5 and then 4. It's like I'm missing those. It's like let me get out. Let me get out at 2.5. And so I'm filled at 2.5. So an incredible gain in 11 minutes. Got in at zero point 0.5, out at 2.5 per contract. Missed out on all of this, but all of that happened at 258 and 259. And I am okay with that because it is extremely nerve wracking to still be in an option that is expiring in seconds, not minutes from now, like seconds from now, and to still be trying to do something with it, trying to hold out, which I don't have a holding muscle like that. And I don't have an account size that I want to get a call from my broker about something like that. So I want to be out of the trade and gave up what could have been, quite a bit more. But anyway, I'm good with what happened. Uh, the only other thing I could have done is set my target closer to this or even below this quite a bit. Like even at 4.5, I would have been waiting to the last minute, the last 60 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. Uh, it's really hard to show what the option was doing. But the best way to go about figuring that is coming back in here and seeing that, okay, if we're in the 5370 strike and we're moving in, so this is 259 and 30 seconds. This candle is moving from $3 in the money to $4 in the money, like that quickly. Okay, this is a 15 second. And then this is 240, 259 and 45 seconds. So this is the last candle of the day before it hits 3 o'clock right here. So here, this candle jumps up, and now this candle is between $5 in the money and $6 in the money. You're holding into the last 15 seconds of the day right before this thing is expired. I do not want to still be in that position. I don't want to have any issue with my broker. Let me give myself like a little bit of a buffer as long as I've got good cell service, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing this on myself because I'm quick on that, not even on online, that kind of thing. So, or on the computer, just what I had to do for today. So, yeah, that was a phenomenal trade. They don't always work that way. A lot of them have been pulling back. Like this could have completely gone the other way. If this had pulled down like this and bounced off here again and come back up or go back down, it's like it would have been out of the money and would have been zero. And I would have been maybe had a chance to exit for break even as it's pulling back. Like, I just want to get out, and I wouldn't even have waited this long. It would have been like, I mean, it could have just sunk. And it's like, okay, that's why I do absolute zero. So absolute zero is where you just, whatever you're putting on, you can lose that entire amount. And when you're dealing with something late in the day like this, that's really the best way to go, unless you want to try and do a different expiration. So like one DT. So tomorrow's expiration, you're not going to get those explosive moves, that kind of thing. But I've got other lines on here, like this yellow channel. Let me zoom out to, I think, an hourly. So I've had this channel on here for a bit. We were respecting that some. This comes from way down here. So we were getting right back into like tagging that. So that was one of the reasons I had the target here. I had this yellow line as kind of this uptrend, and then we broke that just going sideways today. So we switched back to a daily. You can see, yeah, we've just been going sideways right here and anticipating it's like we could make a new all-time high again. And if we do, I can be in the 53.70 strike. And if we get above this wick, it could just run. Late in the day, it didn't have enough time to run, but it did run. And so that was the setup. That was what I was looking for. That's how I traded it on the 15-second chart. And I love the 15-second chart because I can see the waves better. And if I'm doing something right into the end of the day, it just helps, kind of know what the movement is. 30-second is good too. 1 minute, you start to, see some of these patterns emerge that are, it's like, oh, is this a flag here? You can still see that. 3 minute, it kind of starts to break down a little more. It's like, okay, I got to wait for this to break. It's like, well, I don't want to be getting in way up here, especially with only minutes left. I wouldn't have traded that. So you got to be on one of the paid, um, or what it's called, one of the paid versions of TradingView to go down to, I think it goes down to 1 second. Oops, 1 second. Yeah, I I've mistyped and gone down to 1 second, but I don't trade off at 5 second. I don't trade off of, but 30-second. I'm looking for patterns to merge. I'm looking for ebbs and flows, and it's just what I've worked out that works for me. But when I've got these things lined up really well, so like I said, I drew this one in after. I was going mainly off of this one, and when that came back in here, it's like that's just more confirmation that I could get filled down here, and we get a really nice bounce coming out of that. And I tried to adjust this one. It's like, could I have that be the high? And that didn't line up over here. So that's why I tried drawing the different angle. And then I drew this in after it already bounced. And it's like, oh, that was a really good place for it to bounce and get some movement coming out of there. Uh, so that's what I was doing. The midlines on here were being respected a little bit better. So coming into the midline, holding it a little bit here, back down to the bottom, and then just rampage. So pretty phenomenal. And just thought that would be a fun trade to go over. Only trade I took today, and it was a nice solid win. Hope that helps. This is Justin. Thanks.